Kashmiri militants had beheaded Abhav Sahib Talekar in one of the operations. And in fact, they used his head as a football.
The Army Commander General H.M. Khanna, he looked at me and he said, to do this, what do you want, son? No one should ask me, when do I do it, where do I do it, how do I do it? Please leave it to me.
So there has to be some honor and dignity. Like you said, you could have done the same thing, what they did to Bhav Sahib Talekar. But we did not do that.
I would say I'm blessed that he felt I would do it. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee possibly thought that why take it any further, because we had already recaptured most of the, or practically all the heights. I was commanding my battalion in Nowshera sector in Kashmir. I think Hizbul Mujahideen was the group that would have come.
We as civilians take things for granted. We don't know of the immense sacrifices, especially the families of the officers or what they go through.
But once in the army, you're in love with the army, you never leave. So that was how my journey began.
Welcome viewers to today's episode of Meet the Mentors. Today we have an illustrious member of our mentors, General V.G. Khandare, PVSM, AVSM, SM, former military advisor to National Security Council Secretariat, Director General Defense Intelligence Agency. Presently, he is the principal advisor to the Ministry of Defense. Sir, I would like to ask you, what was young Vinod Khandare like in his school days, in his college days, and as a young captain of the army? And what motivated you to join this profession?
Thank you, Shalini, firstly, to get me on this podcast. I think it's a privilege to be talking to the youth of the country. Your question about what was I as a child, I think like any other children, I must have been quite normal. It's been quite some time back. Now I'm in my 67th year. But I remember I was always fond of playing games. And I think till about 8, what I remember is I must have been a mediocre child. But from 9th onwards, when we chose the subjects, the stream, I used to like humanities. And I took that. And thereafter, it was always first position in the class. So, like you've been in the education sector, you know, it all depends on how good your teacher is, how good the teaching faculty is. So, my school was St. Paul's School, and that is in Indore. And my teachers were particularly very good in the humanities. And then when I went to college, so I went to Indore Christian College. Again, wonderful teachers. The principal was very good, Dr. Moses. Now, as a child, what I can say is that it was a very good balance. I was good in sports. I was good in studies. And I wanted to get into the civil services. My father retired from service. He was a very honest bureaucrat. So, when he retired, I was still in class 11th. But not anything from his side that can be said to be missing. But once somebody retires, he's been an honest bureaucrat, then it is the children who start thinking you don't have to be a burden on him. And I decided, let me start preparing by appearing in some competitive exams. So Combined Defense Services was the first one I attempted. I cleared. Interestingly, I didn't go for the SSB the first time I was called. But then, like they say, the army will not leave you. So they again got after me, and I went into what is known as the absentee batch. And then I cleared, and obviously I made a decision that I'll go as a short service officer. And maybe I can try my hand after 5 years for civil services. But once in the army, you're in love with the army, you never leave. So that was how my journey began.
So, sir, the youth of today is not really very aware of, or maybe not totally aware of, the sacrifices that the people of the armed forces are making for securing the country and the people. For example, there was an incident in February 2000 where Kashmiri militants had beheaded Abhav Sahib Talekar in one of the operations. And in fact, they used his head as a football, and they took it across the border, and the president awarded him 1 lakh rupees for doing this. Now, this was such a horrifying incident, but I would want you to talk about the sequence of events during that time and what followed after that. What was the response that our country made?
I think I should trace back the event to of Vijay, the Kargil conflict, and it started in May '99, finished in July '99. When I say finished, is the political announcement that it finished. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee possibly thought that why take it any further, because we had already recaptured most of the, or practically all the heights in Batalik, Daras, Kargil, and that entire area. But let me tell you, on ground, nothing stopped. I was commanding my battalion in Nowshera sector in Kashmir, and there were tremendous number of cross-border raids, fire assaults on each side. Then the civilian population on our side was being targeted by the Pakistani troops. The heavy machine guns and the anti-aircraft guns in ground role were firing at our villages. And in one such incident in February 2000, there was a raid which was a combined team, what is known as the Border Action Team of the Pakistan SSG and I think Hizbul Mujahideen was the group that would have come. And the name of that particular dreaded terrorist who you just mentioned was Ilyas Kashmiri. You can go and see it. It's on website.
He was later killed in a drone attack.
True. Yeah. So 10 people of ours were killed. Bhau Sahib was taken across, beheaded, football played with his head, and it was horrifying. And obviously, we as soldiers, when I say soldiers, colloquially in army, officers and soldiers call themselves as soldiers because that's our profession. So we had to take revenge. There's no doubt about that. You don't forgive and forget. If your soldier has been treated like this, then you got to teach a lesson.
Absolutely.
So then we were 5 commanding officers, and right from the Chief of Army Staff, General Malik, the Army Commander, General H.M. Khanna, the Corps Commander, General A.S. Khanna, my GOC was General Yadav, Brigade Commander was Brigadier Saigal, all excellent people. I must say, all excellent people. And they would come and talk to us as the commanding officers. The battalion which had gone through this horrible episode was possibly, it would be unfair to expect them to take revenge. So the offer was left to us to take it, and I volunteered. My battalion, I had full faith in them. I had full faith in my officers. Their capability, I knew what it was. So we decided that, okay, we'll prepare. And when I did say this, that I would do it, the Army Commander, General H.M. Khanna, he looked at me and he said, to do this, what do you want, son? Very patronizing, very affectionate, but firm in what he was saying. So I said, sir, only 2 things. Firstly, no one should ask me, when do I do it, where do I do it, how do I do it? Please leave it to me. He said, yes, absolutely correct. And he looked at everyone and said, leave him alone. And the second thing, again, which I asked, which I never thought he would agree to, I said, sir, people should not start visiting me in helicopters and all, because then everything goes out, Otherwise, I don't see a helicopter for months together, and suddenly people start coming to me in helicopters. It's like a giveaway. He said both agreed, and he went away.
So he had that much confidence in you and your...
I would say I'm blessed that he felt I would do it. And incidentally, I was the junior most commanding officer there. So I do not know why he thought so, but he did bless me. And then in October, last week, that is 28th October 2000, that is the night of 28th October.
So this happened almost 9 months later.
Yes. We prepared well.
8 to 9 months.
Yeah, we prepared well.
Okay.
And another thing that normally, if you just do a knee-jerk reaction, the other side, if they've done this, they are well prepared.
They're expecting you to
They're
retaliate.
expecting you,
Yeah.
they're waiting for you. Then what do? You lull them into complacency to say the way normally from the other side, that is from our adversary, it was 15 Punjab. The psyche is dar gaya. So you say, okay, let him believe dar gaya. And then,
they thought you had kind of accepted what had happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then on that particular night, 2 of my officers and 18 Jawans, they went across, they raided a post. We killed 26 of the soldiers.
Wow.
But there was a difference. They were Pakistani soldiers. We did not indulge into what they did of beheading people or playing football. We killed them. We picked up 3 of the big weapons and we brought them back.
Right.
These weapons are still in my unit quarter guard, displayed. For generations together, my soldiers who are now commissioned, who are now joining the battalion, officers who are commissioned, for them it is a motivation. Assume for a moment, although I would never have done that, assume for a moment that we had beheaded. What would we have done with that head? But these weapons which are there on display prominently, where everyone goes there, they look at the weapon, they are told the story, and they say, yes, this is what we have to do. So when we did this particular action, it was to avenge the military disgrace that we had gone through and to regain our honor. And that is the dharma of every Indian soldier, that you will not come back defeated.
Also, I think, sir, there is a lesson here of they are also soldiers of another country. So there has to be some honor and dignity. Like you said, you could have done the same thing, what they did to Bhav Sahib Talikar. But we did not do that.
Honestly speaking, I was told to do that, which I said no. I said, if you want evidence, I'll get you evidence. And what do I tell my soldiers when I tell them, you do the same thing that the terrorists do?
And something we were horrified with.
Yeah. And
it was really disgusting.
Yeah, and as far as we are concerned, we are soldiers. We respect soldiers of any other country. They are men in uniform. You know? So if I do not want this to happen to my soldiers, why would I do it to others? Yes, the punishment has been given. The pain has been inflicted on them, the pain that would have been suffered by us. And incidentally, this particular incident of 10 soldiers was not my battalion. It was some other battalion, but we are brothers in uniform. And emotionally we are connected, professionally we are connected. Anything that goes wrong in another battalion, obviously it has an impact on my battalion also. So we decided, and I must tell you that while we were going through this entire planning process, it was every single individual who went across who was contributing and saying, let's do it like this. And more importantly is that these 20 people who went across, but somehow I felt that it's going to be a very big blow to them and they are going to open up with everything possible. And we had done this early in the morning at 5 o'clock. So again, a lot of people said, why early in the morning? I said, no, that's my choice. I'll do it. And when that happened, and in sheer disgust or whatever you can call it, the Pakistani commanding officer, he opened up artillery on his own post, because by then he realized that everything was lost. So he decided that whatever he has to do to punish us, he has to do. So all my 20 people got injured with the splinters.
Okay.
One was very badly off, but he survived.
But no casualties otherwise.
All 20 injured, but no fatal casualties.
Fatal casualties.
And I had a reserve team with one young officer, Second Lieutenant Mohit Mamgain. He went in and got all these 20 back.
Okay.
And these 20 were, the leader in this was Major Amitav Roy, who got a Veer Chakra. His number 2 was Captain Bhupendra Khandka. He got a Sena Medal. and a number of other medals. There was a Hira, there was Arvind, there were so many of them, such good boys. And even today, as a matter of respect and remembrance, on 27th, 28th October till date, we all talk to each other.
Oh, that's wonderful. So these are incidents, sir, and many more that the people of our country and especially the youth need to know about, because we as civilians take things for granted. We don't know of the immense sacrifices, especially the families of the officers, or what they go through. So if you had to give one takeaway from your career, and you've had an illustrious career, sir, with so many important designations and so much work that you have done, what is that one takeaway or one piece of advice that you would like to give the youth who wish to serve the country in whichever way, as an IS officer, or as a defense officer, or in any way that they want to?
Shalini, you touched one very important thing, what the families go through.
Yes.
Now, in this case, Bhupendra Khandka was not married, Mohit was not married, but Amitabh Roy was married. He had a son. And his wife and son, they were staying in Jammu in what is known as the married accommodation for people who are in field areas.
Right.
Now, Amitabh Roy was also injured in both his feet. Bhupi was injured on his cheek and on his arm also. Now, they were all taken to hospital, and I took a call. I said, let me call Amitabh's wife, Nidhi, lovely girl, and let her be with Amitabh in the hospital. I'll talk to the commanding officer of the hospital. So I sent my vehicle from Naushera to pick her up from Jammu. She didn't ask me a single question. She just came. And in the meantime, I also moved to the hospital to see all these boys who are in hospital. So I met Nidhi there. She had a smile on her face. And she just looked at me and said, Colonel Khandare, आपने मुझे बताया नहीं ये होने वाला है. मैंने बोला ये तो मैंने अपनी वाइफ को भी नहीं बताया. So such things happen. Now the point that I'm trying to make is sacrifices are made. We feel lucky that we are the chosen ones. So my advice to the youth, or anyone for that matter, is everyone cannot be on the front line. You have to do what you have to do. So if you are a good citizen, you are our support team. So you do your 100%, we'll do our 100%. See, who are we competing against? Not against each other. We have our adversaries, and a number of them. A number of them across the border. There are people who are working against us within the country also. If you are united, the country goes ahead. If you're not united and you work against each other, then you will have a future of the past. You'll again be enslaved. And you'll take God knows how many centuries again to get into a freedom that we are enjoying today. Freedom never comes free. You have to sacrifice. And if we say, what is sacrifice? You do whatever best, and at times you do not know how much more you can do. So trust yourself, trust your country, believe in each other, and work as a team. That's all that I want to say.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope with this episode, a lot of our young viewers are going to take away some valuable insight from this podcast. Thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you,
us.
Shalini. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.